Hey there guys, today I'm back to talk about some books, some TV shows and some movies. So if you're interested in any of these topics, then please stay tuned. As always, I'm going to start with the books, and I want to first talk about a series I finally finished. This was one of the series I really meant to finish this year because I started it in 2015. I'm talking about this series by Anna Godbersen. The first book is Beautiful Young Things, then Beautiful Days. What did I say? It's Bright Young Things, Beautiful Days, and The Lucky Ones. Now, this series is all about the 1920s, the Roaring 20s, and we meet three girls in this first book. We meet Cordelia, Astrid, and Letty. Now, Cordelia and Letty live in a village somewhere far off, and they're very unhappy with their life. They want to have that glamorous city life that they have in New York. So one day, actually, the wedding day of Cordelia, they decide to run away. So Cord and Letty jump on a train and they go to New York and decide to start a new life there. Astrid, on the other hand, she is an it girl. She's very rich. Her mother had multiple very rich husbands, and Astrid is in love with this son of a bootlegger. And it happens that this bootlegger actually is the father of Cordelia. And so they're all kind of interconnected. They meet and then they, lose sight of each other again and again throughout the series. I did not like this first book when I initially read it. I think I gave it like a 3 stars, a weak 3 stars back then. Now I bumped it up to 3.5 stars. On the one hand, I have read a lot more bad young adult literature since I've read this. On the other hand, I think I knew better what I could expect from this series. Now, this is a lot of teenage drama. It's a lot of pretty dresses. It's very convenient at times. And there is, phases when there's nothing happening at all. And then the ending is very rushed. And also I have a little bit of a problem with Letty, especially in the first book. She is very annoying and the decisions that she makes, I just can't understand. So yeah, 3.5 stars for this one. Then the second book is basically the same thing again, just the second book. It doesn't really change anything. You still have the 3 girls, they're still living their lives, they still have a lot of pretty dresses. I'm not quite sure, but I think there's a new character, Max, introduced in this book. And I thought he was interesting, but the themes connected with him were not explored enough for me, because I think that's a super interesting theme, but it was just, like a side note kind of. And then the last book I actually liked a little bit better, so I think I gave it 4 stars. I felt like the ending was very well done. You could definitely see that there is an overarching story that the author had in mind from the very first page, which you can actually see because, on the very first page, it actually states that at the end of this series, one of the girls will be married, one of the girls will be famous, and one of the girls will be dead. And you have no idea which one is which. They're all kind of famous at one point. They're all kind of dead at one point, like very close to dying or in very great danger. And I mean, they are all kind of, possibly married because they have love interests. So one thing is that Cord is like the main focus of the story, and the other 2 girls are a little bit, trapped around that. And Cord is actually part of a love triangle, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, because I actually liked both of the guys, and they both had like redeeming qualities, but then also things that was like, that's not so pretty. So yeah, overall this series was fun, but it's nothing life-changing, and I've talked about it way too long now. The next book I wanted to talk about, I found in a little bookcase where, you can bring your books that you don't like anymore and then someone else can just take them. So I found The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. I was super excited about this because this is my first Margaret Atwood book, and I had books of her on my wish list for a very long time, obviously The Handmaid's Tale, but the cover and everything, it just had the right vibes and I immediately picked it up when I found it. It's quite a chunker, to be honest, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I think I gave it around 4 stars, maybe 4.5-ish. I don't quite remember right now. But this is a very layered story. So you have Iris. Iris is the daughter of kind of a rich family and she had a sister, Laura. Now Laura passed away right at the end of the Second World War, and then you get multiple storylines. You get Iris when she's, very old and almost dying. And she's telling us the story of her life with Laura till the point that Laura died. So that is the first 2 parts. Then we get these chapters that are from The Blind Assassin, which is a book that Laura wrote before she died. And that book again has two storylines in it. One is a woman cheating on her husband and meeting a guy that is in trouble with the law, but you don't really know why. They just meet in secrets, they have to move around a lot and stuff like that. And they have sex, obviously, but apart from that, he tells her a kind of sci-fi story, which is The Blind Assassin. And yeah, it's very layered like that, but it's fantastic. I don't know what else to say about this, apart from this was like a historical fiction with a sci-fi element to it, and I loved every page of it. Now the next thing I wanted to talk about, I don't have here right now, but it is the Reverence Cycle. I finally finished it. I started listening to it on audio in October last year. And yeah, I listened to all the books on audio. I love the narrator, Will Patton. He's amazing. I could not imagine the series with a different narrator. I don't know. The first book was amazing. I'm not quite sure which one is my favorite, to be honest, but the first book completely drew me in. That whole, starting point on the cemetery and stuff like that. Amazing. I loved it. I loved all the boys. And Noah is my favorite character, and I feel like we get revealed a lot about Noah in the first book, which totally broke my heart, and if you've read the books, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was like actually sobbing on my way from my car where I park it to my front door, kind of, because that was the part when everything was revealed, and I was like, no, it's not true, it's not true. Poor Noah. Yeah, so the first book I think I gave 4.5 or 4 stars. I think 4.5 stars because I absolutely loved it. Then the second book, The Dream Thieves, was not my favorite book. I had a little bit of a slump listening to it. I don't know what it is, but I felt like the focus on Ronan was a little bit overwhelming. I don't know, he's a little bit of a difficult character. I hated Adam in the second book. I really wanted to punch him for a lot of the things he said and did. But I really liked Kavinsky as a character. I think he's great fun, and I was so sad about, the end of this storyline. But yeah, The Dream Thieves was my favorite. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or 4-ish stars. Then the third book is Blue Lily Lily Blue, which a lot of people said is their favorite book. For me, that's not the case. I think it is better again. I did enjoy it more than the second book, but I can see how people that are really into the Gansian Blue thing, have a lot of fun with these tiny little scenes we get of them. But yeah, I don't know. I liked the whole cave aspect as well. I thought that was something that is not, done a lot in these kind of fantasy novels, and that was very interesting. I like the end with that little twist. I really like that. Yeah, so I think I gave it like a 4.5 stars again. And then the last book, The Raven King, definitely is a great conclusion to the story. I don't think that it is too easy. I don't think that it is too easy for the characters, but you know, at the end, it's a little bit YA-ish. I mean, it is YA series, so okay. I really did enjoy the conclusion, and I liked the, what's his name? Oh, Henry, the character. I really liked him. And yeah, it was just interesting. And again, the part with Noah at the end broke my heart so much, so much. I love Noah. I think it's such an interesting concept, and the way she thought it through, it's just fantastic. I love him. So yeah, that would be the Reverence Cycle. Absolutely recommend that, especially on audiobook, because as I said, the narrator is fantastic. But, and that is a first for me, I actually consider buying the physical copies and reading them maybe next year or in 2 years or something, because I feel like I missed a couple of things just because I'm not always listening super closely. So yeah, that would be a first. Next book I wanted to talk about was something I bought like on a whim because it was cheap and I got some kind of ad from Book Depository. I don't know, but I bought it. It is Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Birds Sings. Now, I have been very interested in kind of, Black history books and stuff like that. But with this book, I found again that I'm actually more interested in the stuff that is actually set in Africa. And the whole American thing is not that interesting to me. I don't know why. Maybe because I have, heard stuff about that before. I don't know. But yeah. This book is a memoir, which I did not know when I bought it. I just found out when it arrived here and said that it's an autobiography. I don't know if that's the same thing as a memoir. Whatever. But this covers the childhood and teenage years of Maya Angelou. Now, I did not like this book as much as I wanted to. I always felt slightly disconnected from Maya. And their story, honestly, is so crazy that I, at times, just could not get into it because it was so crazy. Like, it starts off with 2 toddlers on a train alone to go live with their grandma because their parents decided that, they're too much responsibility. I don't know. It's just crazy to imagine that this is actually something that someone lives through. I don't know. So I think I gave this around 3.5 stars. There was definitely stuff that I enjoyed that, I started thinking about more after reading this. And I think if I ever reread this, I will like it more, but I'm not quite sure whether I will do that. Also, I had a little bit of trouble with the ending. That's just, obviously it's her life and, it's just that. But it's just a theme I don't like. I don't like reading about. I don't like. So yeah, that's also the reason why I'm not going to continue with the other autobiography that she wrote. I'm slowly but surely losing my voice, but there's one more book I wanted to mention quickly, and that is Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo, something like that. This is a book I got for my birthday from my boyfriend's mom because I wished for it. I saw this in a lot of videos talking about the best books of 2017. I had completely forgotten about it. It was shortlisted for the Bailey's prize, a women's prize for fiction. I was really interested in this book. As I said, I really like books that are set in Africa because that's something I know very little about, but I love the scenes that come up. So this book was everything I wanted. It's the best book I've read so far this year. I gave it 5 stars. I think everyone should go and read this. This is a fantastic book about women, about men, about what men can do to women even if they love them, just because they always love themselves more. This is about what's her name? I always forget her name. Yedice? Something like that. She's married to Akin, and she made very clear that she wanted to live in a relationship with only her husband, so no other wives. And because they have been married for a while and they have not had a child yet, his mother forces him to marry another woman, basically. And it all gets started from there. Now, I always thought that this would be just about the emotional struggle, but it's much more than that. The first thing that happens is that Yejide, however you say that, she starts thinking that she's pregnant, and she's not really. It's kind of a mental disorder, I guess. I've never heard about this. It was very interesting to read. But then she actually starts having children, but stuff goes wrong there as well. And at the end, the reveal, it's just so heartbreaking, and it just really comes to show that even if a man loves you, he can be the biggest douche in the world. And yeah, I liked this book for that, because that is just what I like to read. I don't know. So yeah, definitely read Stay With Me. If you don't read another book this year, read Stay With Me. Okay, now I quickly wanted to mention TV shows. I have made my way through the second season of Blacklist, finally. I rewatched the first 2 seasons, so now we can go ahead and watch whatever else is on Netflix of Blacklist right now. I've heard that the 4th season may come out soon. I'm not quite sure about that yet, but at least the 3rd season. And then I started watching Iron Fist with my boyfriend, but right now I'm not loving it. But I had heard bad things, so I'm like, this is gonna be bad. I think we're only in the 3rd episode or something like that, so there's still a lot of room for improvement. But the last episode we watched had the weirdest Stranger Things music in it, and nobody knows why, so that really put me off. Apart from that, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't even know what we watched last, so I guess. I mean, we finished The End of the Fucking World. I don't think I've talked about that before. I'm not quite sure what I think about it as well, but I mean, it was fun, but I'm not as big of a fan of it as other people are. And then for movies, we actually managed to go to the movies again, and we saw 3 movies in a row, basically. So yesterday we watched Wind River, which was amazing. It touched me on so many levels. I was crying, and it's just a beautiful movie. If you've not seen it, I would highly recommend it. If you like thrillers and kind of, you know, darker stuff, it's very good. And I love Jeremy Renner, and he's very good in this movie. Then we also watched Downsizing, which I wasn't quite sure about when I saw the trailers, and the movie was really a disappointment. It just did what I thought it would do, and that is, you know, lack in a story. It has a very cool concept, you know, people can be shrunk to 12 centimeters or something like that, so they, you know, have less waste and stuff like that, or better for the environment, but the story was just meh. I mean, there is this Vietnamese character, which is amazing. She's so much fun, but apart from that, it was nothing special. And then before that, we watched 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and that one was really good as well. Like, really good. Yeah, the characters were amazing. This is about a town where a girl went missing, and 7 months after that, nothing has happened. They have not arrested anyone. So the mother has these 3 billboards, and she just puts stuff on there, you know, calling out the police, and all this crazy stuff starts happening because of that. And yeah, it was just a fantastic movie that comes to show that bad things happen, and it's no one's fault. It's not the fault of the police, but it's not the fault of the parents either. It just happened. There was one, you know, bad person that did horrible things to that girl, but, you know, no one else is to blame. And I really like that idea and the way that town got really crazy. So yeah, I'm losing my voice like badly. This is probably a 7-hour video. I'm sorry. Hope you still enjoyed watching this. If you did watch till the end, tell me what has been your favorite movie you've seen so far this year. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!